everybody. Danielle from Made Possible by Pop Culture, possiblebypopculture.com.
Hi, I'm Marisa Roffman from GiveMeMyRemote.com.
This is Madison. He doesn't really have a website, but he's going to hang out with us today because we're here to podcast about the Emmys, and we just got through a little record of a show. It was 2 hours red carpet and then 3 hours show, and he's tired. He's got his tie on. He's ready to let his hair down.
Yes, Danielle puts a tie on her dog.
I do. So, I think we should start with comedy because comedy, that's how they started the night. That's how they actually ended the night. And it was a big, big deal. Modern Family swept everything, which, okay, I'm just going to say I like Modern Family. I really, really do. But I felt like overall, as a season last year, it wasn't as strong as some of the other nominees. So I didn't expect it to take every single category. And I definitely didn't expect Ed O'Neill to not get it, considering he never got anything for Married with Children. And last year he didn't get nominated for this, and it was such a big stink that I felt like, as much as he deserved it, I also thought they would just give it to him because it's the political thing to do. So I was a little surprised when Ty won. And I like Ty, but a little surprised.
Yeah, it was, as much as I adore Modern Family, adore it, it's one of the few shows that legitimately makes me laugh out loud almost every week, if not every week. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that Julie won. I was surprised that Ty won. I mean, they're both great, but in those categories, I would have guessed their castmates might have won. But I was pleasantly surprised because they're funny. I mean, that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Like, I was, when on a day when we see Charlie Sheen make a spectacle of himself again, someone like that winning an Emmy would not have made me happy because he's, at this point, yes, he's got talent and whatever, but he's more famous for being famous and for being an idiot. Right. Sorry, Charlie Sheen, if you happen to be watching this. You're not watching this.
Right.
These guys, Julie and Ty are genuinely talented, and you know what? At this rate, Modern Family might be on another 5, 6, 7 years, and hopefully the rest of the cast will cycle through. I know some people had problems with Modern Family last year. I still think it was, it's hard because in many ways it's a show about nothing because it's about what we all live through every day. So I think it's kind of hard to make it reach, the huge guest star or whatever gets that a lot of other comedies rely on. But I still adored it, and I'm happy that it took home gold.
Right, and I don't think that, if a show is relying on its guest stars, I don't think that's a good thing. I think the fact that the show does so well and reaches so many people by just being about our daily lives and making us want to watch it even though we're experiencing it, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a positive thing. I will say that I say this like it happened last year too. I think it hurts them that they're all opposite each other in the supporting categories. I think that Ed should have been leading, and I don't know about the women, but I was very surprised to see Melissa take it. I think everybody on that stage was surprised. I think everybody in that room, and I love Melissa McCarthy. I've loved her since Gilmore Girls, don't get me wrong, but it's a situation where I didn't feel the show she won for really was deserving of the award. She's deserving of it, but it's almost hard to compare where what she's doing with what I kind of think is subpar writing compared to some of the other shows, and then to put her in a category opposite somebody who has that already behind them. I mean, you can almost say she's doing more with it, but at the same time, it's still so different because she's doing traditional sitcom versus, especially Laura Linney, and even Edie Falco. It's much, they go dark and at times they go into the drama. But I was even thinking, just like, look at Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, like that's comedy, but it's not traditional sitcom comedy. It's a different muscle.
Right.
So it's so hard to compare all of those different sides to the coin, and yet they are. And I was very surprised to see her take it.
I was too.
Especially because the show was almost canceled. I was like, wow, this is going to be a really good feather in that show's cap now.
Yeah. Out of all the actresses on that stage, she was probably the one I least expected to hear her name called. But at the same time, the look on her face, she was genuinely shocked and thrilled. Yeah. And the nominees seemed so genuinely shocked and thrilled for her that I'm just like, and it was a nice way to just make the show more about the acting again, whereas the previous category had kind of taken things down a different turn, and so those women made things funny. I mean, that was a
Right.
That was an unexpected moment when Amy Poehler starts walking up on that stage, and you're like,
right.
Oh my
I thought that
God.
was brilliant. Obviously at that point didn't know that everybody was going to do
Yeah.
it. I was just happy to see Amy do it, and if she was the only one that had stood up and been like, nope, I'm going to stand up here all the time, I would have loved it, because
Yeah.
I personally, I picked her as who I wanted to win, not who I thought would win necessarily, but yeah, I thought I would have liked to see Parks and Rec get some Academy love, maybe next year, maybe not. And then Jim Parsons, obviously, I mean, I wanted him to win, even though he won last year. I just think he's so brilliant in a role that could be so unlikable and just odd, you know, and I was really happy to see him win.
That was a very, probably the most bittersweet win of the night for me, because I adore Jim Parsons. He is amazing as Sheldon. Obviously, this last year with the addition of Amy,
yes,
that was
it added
fantastic
so much
material to work with. It was great to see him try to explore himself and explore the relationships and everything with that. But at the same time, I mean, my heart wanted Steve Carell to win. It's so hard because, yes, this might not have been his finest year of work that he's had, but Goodbye Michael made me cry. I'm not too proud to admit that. And it's like, when I think of The Office, when I watch all these reruns all the time, I know it had several episodes without Michael Scott, but it hasn't really felt real. It hasn't really sunk in that, oh my god, he's actually not going to be here for the entire season now.
Right.
And given how great Steve Carell has been in what can at times be a completely unlikable role, and the fact that he's been able to add depth and layer to that, I wish he had gotten the chance to be recognized by his peers for that. I wish he had gotten the chance to, you know, put that little feather in his cap at the end of the day and
I don't know.
recognized.
I kind of feel like if he had been recognized this year, I feel like it would have been because everyone was like, oh, it's your last chance, and not that he doesn't deserve to be rewarded for the work that he's done, but I feel almost like in the later seasons, Michael did go back to being one note, whether that's writing or acting or a combination or whatever. I just felt like he wasn't unlikable, but he wasn't growing anymore. Like, he hit that wall, and you could say he grew by, like, getting engaged to Holly, but that's a physical step that a character's taking. That's not really an internal thing, because he had been in love with Holly forever in his own weird way. So I kind of felt like I kind of hit the wall with the character too, where I was like, I didn't want to see him leave the show, but I kind of felt like I was watching the same thing over and over again. And I don't feel that way about a lot of the other characters or actors that were nominated, especially Sheldon, because, I mean, look, it is a newer show too, and there is so much room for a character like Sheldon to grow.
You were in our live chat and site, you saw it. I said I wanted either Modern Family or Big Bang, because those are the two shows that that and Cougar Town, which obviously was not nominated next year, Academy. Those three shows are the ones that consistently make me laugh out loud in terms of traditional comedies. Also love Psych, which is still being ignored. But that's
a whole different thing, because it's an hour and it's
still comedy.
I know,
it's still
but
comedy.
it's not.
I know.
Like,
they need a drama.
It's outside that box to the point, like, I don't know that it could compete with the others. I don't know, you know.
But they put it in the reel, so I'm satisfied with that in terms of for now.
It's funny, like, I feel like we were okay with comedy this year. Like, I feel like for the most part, we didn't have too many gripes about what happened at the Emmys and what the Academy did and did not vote for. Drama? I did not feel that way. So I think we're going to have to talk about that next. I should definitely stick around and check that out, because that's going to be a long conversation. I have some thoughts.
We both do.